Some people don't get it. I'm going to show you a clip here from the director of the American Society of Magical Negroes, Kobi Libii.
You know, when it got down to the place where we were really going to people who sort of unilaterally had the power to be like, I'm gonna make this movie, or I'm gonna not make this movie. It was shocking how many white people there were. You know, that there were very, 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 very few people of color, let alone black people specifically, you know, who really had the power to make this movie if they chose.
To make this movie if they chose to. I'm going to imagine and make an assumption now that you were told from these people who rejected your movie why they were rejecting the movie. That there was not an audience for it and it wasn't as progressive as you thought it would be. The thought of this. You have a problem with that film trope? Okay, understandable. What movie will you... a whole movie about that film trope. He doesn't understand escapism. He doesn't understand what... To counter what's trash, it's more better to have a movie that doesn't include the trash. If that's... when I saw that man's face, before I knew what he looked like, I knew what he looked like. And So here's the thing. Here's the problem with me. Detective Pikachu, Justice Smith also stars in that. I know why they used him because of the Ryan Reynolds surprise. I know why they used him, but aside from that, for 2 hours, we sat there and we watched a world of Pokemon. And we enjoyed just this escapism. He was into a girl. There was a little mystery to solve. And the movie happened. The lead character happened to have melanin in his skin. That's progress. That's racial progression. And a Japanese studio did that too. What do you know? But the people who forwarded your movie, the studio that picked it up, the ones who say, yeah, let's go ahead and make this movie, maybe, just maybe, perhaps, theory, they're in the business of the destruction of your people, Kobi. It's just weird to me for him to say, a lot of people, black people specifically, weren't supporting my movie. They didn't want this to get made, even if they chose to. Why didn't you listen to them and hear them out? Okay, ignore them. Forget those people, right? Here's the box office results from this weekend. Okay, never mind. They haven't updated it for the entire weekend. They're just looking at the Friday. Oh no, that does include Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Total accumulation domestically of $1 million. The movie cost way more than $1 million to make, and we know it was marketed. I don't care about how small independent film this was. That is a letdown coming out of Focus Features. Focus Features, I hope I never see your distributor name again. I don't want to see these guys make more movies. With a pretty wide release, could have been bigger, 1,147 theaters. The people have spoken. They saw the trailer, and there was plenty of talking about this movie. And so when it was time to go on Friday, they didn't show up. This movie probably has another 4 weeks in the box office. So maybe, again, people can recommend a movie, and then all of a sudden, the same way American Fiction grossed 10 times. I did a video on it for members, but we saw how it just kept going and kept going and kept growing and making money. It is possible for this movie to do the same thing, except it's not that movie. This is no Cord Jefferson. And Cord Jefferson won an Oscar. So those same white people who forwarded this movie, maybe not the same, but white people vote for the Oscars, white people vote for this. And I don't know. I think you should have listened to the black folk who said, don't do this movie. I really don't know what to take, because how could this movie happen? Just 3 months ago, we saw the release of American Fiction, which was great, which, again, it did have themes of the negative stuff that we don't want to see anymore, but it wasn't, but it was appropriate enough for me to go, okay, yeah, I guess I am going to the movie theaters to see a movie talking about fuck and that kind of trash stuff. But they handled it well. Now, to Cord Jefferson, I'd like to see a movie where you don't include anything related to gang stuff, even if it's to mock it and to show why it's wrong. I would just like Detective Pikachu. He has the connections now. That after party at the Oscars is legendary for making movies later on during the year. So he knows people. He's holding this big golden award, talking to Scorsese. The next person he talks to, he wants to talk to him. Yeah, you're Cord. I loved your movie, man. This is the thing. And then we got to work together. And all of a sudden, everyone The Rock was there. Well, maybe The Rock wants to get with Cord. Maybe he smells what he's cooking. Off to Variety now. An article written by Rebecca Rubin. She is a board member of People of Colorless. Let's see what she had to say about his movie. Another newcomer, Focus Features, satirical comedy, The American Society of Magical Negroes, stumbled to the number 9 spot. The film scraped together just 125 million from 1,046 venues, smaller screen count than the average wide release. Reviews and word of mouth may not help which has 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. First-time filmmaker Kobi Libii. Look at that, first-time filmmaker. Do you see how she was so glad to gloat, to share just how you're a rookie filmmaker? This was, there was a smaller release than usual, and how like she was so happy to make this article. She doesn't make articles about. This is her bread and butter. Directed the movie, starring Justice Smith, David Allen Greer, about a young man who was recruited to an organization that exists to make life easier for white people. Is that what your movie is, or is there more to the movie? Did she oversimplify it? Did she not just turn off everyone who's reading this? They're waiting for a recommendation. I don't know how many people read the Variety website if it's not like some breaking news story. They just want to see, what happened on the box office? Let me hear Rebecca tell me about it. I don't know how many people are looking at that, but it was goddamn trash. Here's how she covers Dune. In a close second place, Dune Part 2 added a mighty 29 million from the 3,000 venues in its third week of release. You see how, by comparison, you guys just look way worse? I'm just saying. If you read this article, this paragraph, you probably read that paragraph. You got dog walk, Kobi. That was it. Look at your filmography. Where's that filmography of Kobi? I had it open on the side tab. It was open. Where was it? It says he's from theater, of course, from 2007. His role was himself, so I guess he was an actor. We Broke Up. His role was Ari. The Hater. His role was Reggie. And then this movie, writer, director, producer. Hey, shout out to your ambition. You tried something in your 40s. You went ahead and okay, so you did your thing. All right, I understand. And you work with Jordan Klepper as well. So, like, you kind of made it out the ranks. You're working for people. You're working with people. And then you said, let me just do something on my own. And it poorly performed. What you do next in this space, what you did now doesn't determine the failure of what you do next. Just because this flopped doesn't mean that you're not going to have great movies. Doesn't mean you're not going to be the next Spike Lee. You can still do that. The door is not shut on you. Just know and learn from what not to do in a movie. If people don't want to see the American Society of Magical Negroes, give them what they do want. I'm on culturebay.co, and we're going to look at some of these titles here. The Kitchen, Welcome Home Franklin, Lovely Dark and Deep, Parallel. That's what I'm talking about. There's a small movie called We Grow Now, coming of age story. We've got Challengers featuring Zendaya in the lead. Nothing to do with racism, hatred. It's just a tennis player who's excelling at her craft, and a drama talking about it. We've got a drama horror featuring Justice Smith about a teenager, Owen, who's just trying to make it through life in the suburbs when his classmate introduces him to a mysterious late-night TV show, a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. So you see how, like, that, while maybe him living in the suburb may have themes that I might have an issue with, that seems like a thing that has nothing to do with trauma, with tropes, and you're just going to enjoy a movie. The lead of the movie happens to have dark skin, and it's going to be a happy, enjoyable experience where people who have that skin can go, this is great, I don't got to see myself in that negative image. And then people who don't have that skin, people who got skin tone like this guy here on the right side, get to go, I don't have to think of them as fill in the blank. A Quiet Place Day One is a horror science fiction action thriller. And it's female led. So that's coming in June 28th with Lupita Nyong'o. I'm sure this will have nothing to do with the trauma of the existence of your being because of your skin tone. This is a franchise that they're adding on, so it's got to have a built-in audience. It's a good idea, and it's probably going to be forwarding to have an actress who is talented. While we know where her breakout role was, we know everything she's done since has been pretty empowering, and salute to her. No, The Wild Robot by DreamWorks. I don't know. Maybe the voice actress is Lupita Nyong'o, but I wouldn't count this. Wicked, that's coming out in November 27th. Probably another one of those Wizard of Oz type things, right?
The best way to bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
You're green.
I am.
Okay, you're green. I am. Now, I wouldn't count this just because what I would like, what the goal would be, is to have her natural skin tone be accepted and humanized. So while the casting was fulfilled, the level of progress isn't going to be fulfilled because we're not going to be spending time with a character who's looking, and probably the villain also, with, I don't know, I haven't seen the trailer, but we're not going to be spending time normalizing this appearance and sympathizing and going through all the emotions, rooting for the character the way that you would like for a black character with quote unquote black, brown skin. We want that. Painting their faces is a trope. So no, I don't count this. But there are movies, like if you look up at Challengers, if we look at Parallel, like I mentioned earlier, which is just going to be a science fiction movie. Everyone's going to happen to have skin that is just this dark, and we get to enjoy a story play out. Kobi, keep the magic and the elements of transportation, because that is such an easy gimmick to pull off. You don't really need a high budget to just have a cameraman stand right there, tripod placed right there. The camera's facing nothing. You say cut, your actors walk on screen, action, and then they are, whoa, we're here. Teleportation is such an easy camera trick, and it's a superpower. So if you want to do things, keep the same cast, David Allen Greer, Justice Smith, and do a movie that doesn't talk about how their appearance, their relationship with white people, struggle or trauma. I give him a transportation technique, story. And see what happens. See what people will say. Oh, this was really cool. What if I did have powers like that? Oh, okay, we got a family also. That's cool. Father, mother, sister, and brother. And then and see how the audience reacts to that original screenplay. And then see who doesn't want to pick it up to make it a film. I think you got the full experience, Kobi. Is anyone here wanting to see that movie or has already seen the movie? Am I not giving it a chance? So am I wrong? Did you like it? That's what the comment section's for.